Live, pal. We're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's late edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek. Jedi not here again this week, but I'm joined with a very, very special guest. We have somebody new, a friend from the StarCast convention, Double C. Is that what you want to be called? Oh, well, you know, it's been an interesting week. This is going to be a different type of show than what most of the folks are used to, because I'm not really going to talk much about WWE this week. The big news this week has been Wrestle Kingdom, New Year's Dash, All Elite Wrestling's announced, and a rally coming up this coming Tuesday, and speculation on the future of the Best Bout Machine, Kenny Omega. So, it's,
So a much better show this time.
you can say that, but, for those that haven't seen the show before, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. People like myself and Double C, we love wrestling, we love talking wrestling with you, the fans. It's how me and him became friends. But we're not in the wrestling business. We're not wrestling insiders. We're fans just like you. We try not to use insider terms because at the end of the day, we're not wrestlers. We are just two marks, but we're going to talk a little inside this week just because, well, there's a lot going on. And it's kind of, yeah.
Also, like, 2019 has just been hitting the feels of everybody for wrestling.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to adjust this camera just a wee little bit. Gotta love Amateur Hour on YouTube.
But at least finally we got the rumor out of the way that AEW is going to be a reality.
Yes,
I'm so happy about that.
Yes.
But they still need to say where Double or Nothing is going to be.
I wish...
Hopefully that rally is going to be what it is.
I'm hoping that it's going to be Chicago again, but I doubt it.
No, it's going to be SoCal, SCU.
Well, I'm probably not going to make this one, but yeah.
Listen, especially if they say Double or Nothing, that means they want to find a venue that was a lot bigger than Sears Center.
Right. We'll find out. We probably need to take this all from the top. Well, we got AEW. You know, it's officially started. We know it's going to be a reality now. So far confirmed, we have SCU, the Young Bucks, Cody, Hangman, and there's one, Britt Baker, right?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. That
Cole Bay's wife.
Yeah. Surprise.
Peace Adam Cole.
No, no. WWE brought back the dead. Remember?
But they don't know that. BTE says otherwise.
Yeah.
You saw that StarCast, they said otherwise.
I didn't make the weigh-in like you did, so I didn't get to see that.
I think it's kind of weird. I got into like following the Elite right around when Marty joins.
That's about the time I started following. That's about the time I started watching Being the Elite. I was watching, you know, Ring of Honor and stuff, and hit and miss New Japan, but that's about the time that I got into following Being the Elite.
I think it was like thanks to them that I got a whole new appreciation for Ring of Honor and New Japan, and of course Bullet Club.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd always been a Bullet Club fan. AJ's what got me into Bullet Club, but, you know.
I'd heard of them before, but it just like never really crossed my mind about them. It's like, okay, it's this big faction in New Japan, but I think the moment they circulated to North America, it became a whole lot bigger. That I see them as not just another wrestling faction, but this is a brand, in my opinion.
Well, but the Bullet Club is still owned by New Japan, hence why they broke off to become the Elite and start AEW. But you know, there's a lot of speculation about AEW. I'm gonna try and keep speculation and long shots to a minimum. At least that's me personally, just because.
Oh, I'm all about the fantasy booking.
Oh, what's booking?
Well, that's true.
What's booking? We don't do that.
But
We write fan fiction here.
planning. Well, I'm sorry for someone who played SmackDown vs. Raw, but made me GMO. That's what I do. I make matches that people would actually like.
I like, for me though, whenever I do like my fantasy fiction for wrestling, I still try and think, what could actually happen? You know? I would love it if Johnny Gargano just came to the main roster and kicked Brock Lesnar's ass, but that's not going to happen. So I try to think, how could he actually debut and make me happy?
Now I just think about how to fix the ratings.
I don't know how to fix ratings.
Yeah,
But-
for them to, I know we're trying to go like non-WWE this time, but it's like for them to say like, you people are going to be in charge. So we're going back to the whole people power crap.
Yeah, that's...
That's kind of how it looks like. Okay, cool. Whatever you say.
Yeah, but...
This is why I'm Team SmackDown.
Well, me too, definitely. But, you know, as far as AEW is concerned, like, I don't know, like... I need to know, and we're probably going to learn more about this Tuesday, you know, what's their business model going to be? Like, are they going to offer things on a streaming service? What network are they going to be on? Like, how often are they having, like, pay-per-view? Like, I don't know enough about AEW to really do anything, think about anything with it.
I mean, that's kind of the speculation we had with All In. It's like, the moment, like, they announced where the venue was going to be, they had, like, one match. And it was Cody and Aldous, which obviously that was match of the night.
And I'll fully concede this. Like, whenever I saw the press conference, I remember kind of thinking, I don't think they're going to sell out, because I thought they were going to pull a bigger rabbit out of the hat than Ray. Like, I thought they were going to pull... I don't know. I thought they were going to give us something like, even though I don't give two shits about him anymore, a Punk or Batista or something like that, you know.
Well, for them to have Chris Jericho out of nowhere appear, that was
pretty sweet.
That was one of the biggest pops of the night. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, they brought him here.
Yeah. But AEW is just like, as much as I want to talk about it, I don't... this will be something better to talk about once we've learned more. Probably on next week's episode when we have this rally. Because the other big speculation for AEW is, so are they going to be on good terms with New Japan and Ring of Honor? I mean... essentially four, because Marty's still in ROH, four of ROH's top stars have left, and they're saying they're not coming back. At least not for a while. So it's a matter of...
Well, just because you left someplace doesn't mean you still can't be partners with them.
No, I'm not saying that, but it's just... It's kind of like, okay, if they're not going to partner with ROH, who are they going to get? There's so many... You know, I feel like ROH, they could be partners, but ROH is still going to look at them as competition. I won't say competition, but... You know...
I don't think so. Like, they could just like be partners with... I don't even know how many indie circuits we have in the States, but there's hundreds they could partner with. And basically the main, like, the top two, like, indie circuits in the States is Impact and ROH.
Yeah. I just still feel like ROH... They could be partners, but ROH doesn't want to come out of this partnership looking like they are AEW's Bush League. You know what I mean? They don't want to make that. They don't want to make it seem like, you know, hey, we're a second tier to this. You know.
You know what? I think it would be the other way that AEW would be. I guess like their little mini league where it's like if they look good enough, they're good enough for ROH. Like, I guess how NXT is to WWE.
I feel like they're going to be maybe they might be on, like, good enough terms, like, maybe you'll get a little bit of shared talent, but I don't think you'll see a lot of signed Ring of Honor guys on AEW TV. You know, like
the best they'll probably get is Flint.
yeah, but Flint's still under contract for another year, so it'll be a long time before he goes to AEW full time. You know what I mean?
Well, no, just have him be like part time. Because I know he's like full time with ROH.
And there might be something with Sinclair, or like about appearing on different TV. Like, you don't know that business side of it yet. And then the other big question is, how is this going to affect their relationship with New Japan? Because Bucks, Cody, and Paige and Marty, they seem to have all left New Japan. Kenny, we'll get to that later. So, I mean, are they going to have a good relationship with New Japan? Because without those guys, the expansion in New Japan is gonna be hurting.
Well, we'll see. I mean, there's other superstars that like have crazy talents that can help the expansion. Like, of course, like Okada, when he came to All In, like he got like a crazy pop when his entrance came out. I had never even heard of the guy before All In. And I was just like researching about it, and he was like, "Holy crap, this guy's amazing!" And when he came to Chicago, everyone loved him.
Well,
so I think that
a lot of people did already hear of Okada, but I think unfortunately, and for better or worse, in North America, there's a lot of people. You need a North American to be the face of an expansion. You need Kenny. Or before that, it'd be AJ, or whoever. Like right now, it's looking to be Jay White.
yeah, Nakamura, who was the face of NXT, he was Japanese greatest import.
True, but NXT is not really. NXT is still kind of a niche product, to a point. It's WWE, but it's the niche product. I compare it like to comic books. You know, there's like certain comic books that are like for everybody. You know, any kind of fan can pick them up. But then there's like other different titles within Marvel and DC that are a little bit more violent. Like the Marvel Knights books in Marvel were a little bit more for the hardcore comic, adult-oriented comic fans in comparison to the rest of their line. That's kind of how I feel about it. NXT is for the hardcore fan, not the person who just wants to watch Raw or SmackDown.
Well, I think with AEW, you just want to watch good wrestling.
Mm-hmm. And you gotta wonder are they gonna focus on? Is AEW gonna focus on co-branding, co-promoting this, that, and the other, or are they gonna bring in more people that they feel didn't get a fair shake in the WWE, like the Dolph Zigglers, your Zack Ryders, your revivals, things of that nature?
I thought their motto was "fuck the revival."
Well, I'm sure they would still take a chance to wrestle the Revival, and I would really like to see I want to see that match because I want to see the Revival win, because I feel like if they're gonna promote their own company, what better way to make it seem like, hey, we're not just gonna use this to make ourselves look like king shit. We'll lose to the Revival in the first match. You know what I mean? It makes it look like they're not selfish. But
Also, I could see them as the AEW Tag Team Champs if they jump ship.
are they even gonna have we? As fun as it is to speculate, it's like I don't want to speculate too much and have this big high standard of what AEW could be, and then when we see the reality of it, going, "Aww, but I wanted Kenny Omega versus this," or "Oh, but I wanted." Well, I don't want this, but I'm speaking like that. I wanted CM Punk. I couldn't give two fucks about CM Punk, but that's just me. Or I wanted.
That was me at all, and I kind of was hoping for a Punk appearance, but considering what had happened weeks prior to All In, it's like, I can't get it.
Just don't. Punk don't want to wrestle anymore. That's his prerogative. Whatever. There comes a point in time where you become over somebody, and that's just one guy I'm over.
It's not so much I'm not really over him. It's like, sure, some people might be over him, but you have to admit the things he said about WWE, whether you think it was a work or a shoot.
What's a work and a shoot?
Or what's real, what's fake, I don't know.
Bingo.
There you go. I'm still learning my terminology.
You're having to relearn it. Because this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap show, Double C.
I'm sorry, my name's not Mark. I failed the audition for the room.
No, we're all Marks. Each and every one of us are Marks. But there's enough of that. Wrestle Kingdom. Unfortunately, Double C hasn't seen the card. I can give you my quick thoughts on it. I thought it was
kind of results, but
yeah.
I didn't watch them. I didn't watch.
I thought that it was an okay show. Now, let me put things into let me put this into perspective just a little bit. It was okay by a New Japan standard that's consistently delivering great, excellent shows all the time. If this were a WWE pay-per-view, it would be phenomenal, but because it's New Japan and kind of has this like higher standard kind of set, it felt a little bit underwhelming. The matches that I really enjoyed, Naito and Jericho. Just things kind of coming full circle a year later, and the subtlety of Naito finally, kind of accepting the Intercontinental Championship and not really, being bitter. He still doesn't want it, but he's not quite as bitter about, the belt as he was in previous reigns. So, we'll see what happens with that, and if that's more character development for Naito. Jay White versus Okada was very good. For the short of a match as that was very good, and it made Jay White look really good with another big win. A big win at Wrestle Kingdom over Okada. Big things are in store for Jay White. The rest of the card felt rushed. With the AEW speculation, anything with a member of the Elite in it, you kind of was a walking spoiler. I knew the Young Bucks weren't winning the heavyweight tag titles, but LIJ's Evil and Sonata got those, and then
been an interesting plot twist.
Yeah, but I don't know, if they're not going to be, do you really want, Brock Lesnar? Do you really want Brock Lesnar with their tag titles? I mean, New Japan fans were already angry about Jericho kind of half-assed Brock Lesnar in the Intercontinental title. You know what I mean?
Well, it was interesting at one point when he was the IWGP Intercontinental title that he still competed in the Royal Rumble. If I'm not mistaken,
he wasn't the IWGP Intercontinental Champion yet for the Greatest Royal Rumble.
No, I'm not talking about Greatest Rumble. I was talking about last year's Rumble.
He wasn't the champion then, Jericho.
I thought he was.
He won the title in June.
Or was I thinking about the U.S. title?
He didn't win Kenny beat him.
Oh.
Well, yeah, he failed to win the U.S. title. He beat Naito for the Intercontinental title. He had one defense against Evil, and then his next defense was against Naito, to where he lost. So, but this isn't going to be a hot take, and I'm not a Southern atheist with a tennis racket who calls anything that's not Smoky Mountain Wrestling or the NWA killing the business. But I did not like Kota Ibushi versus Will Ospreay, and it wasn't Kota Ibushi's fault. Will Ospreay got hit with about several big moves and acted like none of them hurt and did about a bunch of fucking flips, and I don't care for Will Ospreay, and I thought I respect what the man can do, but I did not care for that match at all.
He's one of my favorite British wrestlers.
I don't care for Ospreay. I'm not Jim Cornette, but When you get dropped on, Ibushi dropped him on his head for a near fall, and he popped back up like, all right, whatever, mate, I got you, I'm gonna beat you. I'm like, dude, at least pretend like you're, oh god, that hurt and that took a lot out of me, and I'm gonna struggle to my feet a little bit before I hit this move. Come on.
I still thought for the longest time his name was Will Offspring when I first heard about him.
I call him Will Overrated Spray. You know, I know he's got a large following, and there's gonna be a lot of people in the comments being all like, "Fuck you, Osprey's great." That's cool, you know.
Yeah, I don't get on to fly it.
Yes, I don't care about Will Ospreay. But whatever, to each their own. The main event, Kenny coming out with the Undertale, hopes and dreams theme, kind of. It made me cry, and it brought to me. It made me really think this was going to be his last match, because it kind of had this big feeling of finality to it. It's just, yeah. It was a good. He had a good match with Tanahashi, but I kind of when I saw that entrance, I just remember kind of thinking like, Kenny ain't winning. But
I kind of hate the fact that Pro Wrestling Tuesday released like his T-shirt and say like probably the last design of Omega. It's like, guys, don't do this, please.
I mean, it might be like we still don't know what Kenny. Like I nothing would surprise me about Kenny Omega at this point. We're just gonna segue this into the last part of the show. And the rumor and innuendo, as Conrad Thompson would say, about Kenny Omega and his future. Right before the time of this recording, it was announced that Kushida. It was announced by New Japan and Tokyo Sports that Kushida is leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. It was announced by Tokyo Sports that Kenny Omega is also leaving, and if I can give me 1 second, I will pull up the exact quote from Kenny. Just let me get to it. WC, entertain the folks while I'm looking this up.
I don't know what I can say. I was like, scribbling.
You're never at a loss for words any other time, and now.
What I was trying to do is I was trying to think of like a random wrestling theme in my head that I could sing along to poorly, but I thought, just be a bigger fool. But I'm trying to think of like other crazy wrestling stories I've been hearing.
Oh, here, I believe I found because I gotta find this translated.
Oh, well, I can't say that I will be like at Rumble weekends.
Oh, yeah, have a good time with that. That's gonna be awesome. I went to the Royal Rumble in 2012, and it was the most fun, with the exception of all in the most fun wrestling event I'd ever been to in my life. So.
I will say this: like often when I watch the Rumble, it's like I pick my winners, and then I pick who's going to be the surprise entry. And to me, my picks are Nikki Cross for the women and Aleister Black for the men.
You think they're going to win?
No, I think they're going to surprise.
Okay. I'm about to say, like, you honestly think Aleister Black's going to win the Royal Rumble?
I would love Nikki to win, though, because Nikki Cross is amazing.
I think Becky needs to win the Royal Rumble.
Well, but Ronda and Nikki, maybe that'd be amazing.
Yeah, but
psychopath.
But that's not worthy of a main event, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Becky and Ronda is worthy of the main event.
Nikki and Asuka.
Nikki and Asuka is not worthy of the main event. Nikki is not worthy of the main event right now. Oh, well, maybe on the SmackDown side of things, yes, that'd be a good match. But on the Raw side of things, you need Becky to win so she can challenge Ronda, and then go to WrestleMania from there.
But Charlotte, I'm not gonna be happy because oh yay, just because her last name is Flair.
I like Charlotte, but I get you. All right, here is the Kenny Omega.
I don't mind her.
Here is the Kenny Omega quote This was translated by Chris Charlton. Reflecting back on it, the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 13 match was about to decide the protagonist of New Japan. I take full responsibility for the loss. There is no real place for me to fit, so it's best for me not to be in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I can't be there working under Tanahashi. I don't think he surpassed me. Don't think he's better. If we can, I want to face him again, but I need time away and not just from New Japan. Now...
Well, there's a speculation that he's taking time away, but he didn't say he wouldn't consider coming back.
That's true. That could mean so many things. That just makes me believe that this is a storyline. I mean, it might not be. You know, he could be saying something like this. Kenny Omega knows who his fan base is, and it's the people like us that are reading the internet and constantly like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about this? You think this means he's leaving? What about this? Oh, they're having a meeting with New Japan. He might go to AEW. Oh, Dave Meltzer said that Vince McMahon's offered him $3.5 million or whatever. That's Kenny Omega's fan base, and Kenny Omega is smart enough to know, if I do these things, it's going to get people talking about me, whether or not I go to the WWE, or go to AEW, or re-sign with New Japan, or broker a deal between the two of them, or broker a deal between all three. I mean, that's the longest shot, but still.
So, my worry is this, like, you offered that much money, you have to make sure that he would be the poster boy for all of WWE, whatever brand he could be, preferably SmackDown, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Like, you have to make sure, and I kind of discovered this with Bullet Club of Love, where you could be, like, the face that runs the place, the demon poster for NXT, or it could be a crowny mid-card. Kind of like what Dial was going through, which is like...
Rainbow's in the chat. SCU! SCU. At the bar now.
I would freak if I hear the SCU music at NXT or Royal Rumble. Like, maybe just as a play on Invasion.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that to ever happen, but it would be cool.
I know, obviously, but I will try to get an SCU chant going before TakeOver and Rumble. I'm sorry, you go to Phoenix, that's like the worst town ever. It's too hot. There's nothing to do.
True.
And they forget they have a hockey team.
Well, I forget about hockey just all the time. No offense to the hockey fans out there, but...
Oh, duh, the Blues suck. No offense.
Okay. I don't follow hockey, so...
Okay. Well, you ain't Chicago. Just at least we can agree on that.
Yeah, I don't like Chicago teams.
There you go. Nobody does.
I know I have some followers from Chicago. I'm sorry I don't like any of your sports teams. But just this whole... There's so many things that could be happening right now. It's like my head hurts from I mean, ever since I was down in the dumps on after I watched Wrestle Kingdom, I was like sad, he has this beautiful entrance and Kenny loses and
he had an epic entrance.
With Kenny, it's like the music and what the title of the song is, and it just kind of represent a whole bunch. And then when you kind of got done thinking that it might be his last entrance in New Japan, and Kenny was visibly crying during the entrance.
Well, remember, BTE always plays with their stories when they confirm that no, we're not going to sign with Triple H under a very bad Frankie Kazarian impersonation.
But remember during all of this on BTE, whenever AEW was announced, Kenny was not there. Whenever they rejected the WWE, Kenny was not there. So...
No, neither was Marty.
Yeah, and Marty's still under contract with Ring of Honor and this is complete speculation. I believe Marty is gonna join his girlfriend in NXT.
Nah.
I think.
I honestly would have thought maybe he should have stuck with Bullet Club because, like, when they distanced themselves, it's like he's only been with them for like a year.
He was always more of a member of the Elite. He never really hung out with Tama and Tonga and Fale and all them. He was always like he was a Young Bucks guy, so it made more sense for him to want to go with the Bucks and the Elite.
I still thought of him as his own person. And he's the villain. Like, it's the same guy that flipped me off during his karaoke session.
I don't know.
I still can't forgive him for that, but that's a whole other story.
But back to Kenny, it's like, I would have been saying like, okay, he's gone, but whenever I hear a quote like that, to me it feels like he's gonna go away, and then like all of a sudden after like, if Jay will have to tell more story, like he's either gonna challenge somebody for the belt or something. I feel like he's gonna come back at least for something, hopefully MSG, but.
Even make an appearance, and then you just attack someone from Bullet Club.
If he's not having a match at MSG, I don't want it. I'm just gonna be honest. I do not want to. I didn't pay. I paid to see Kenny Omega, and I'm still gonna go and still have a good time if he's not there. But I'm gonna feel kind of like, what the fuck is that if he just comes to MSG to attack somebody when you could have him have one of the best matches. You could have him have one of the greatest matches of all time at MSG, and you're going to use him for a fucking run-in. That would be like, really, motherfuckers? That's a WWE move if there ever was one. Here's this great talent. We're not going to use him, though.
Well, what was the difference when we had Y2J? Just to promote his cruise?
Kenny Omega...
It was a good angle they made, but still.
You have somebody who has had great matches with Tanahashi, Kota Ibushi, Kazuchika Okada. He has a ready-made storyline, and all you're gonna do is a run-in on the biggest show that you've ever put on. That's all you can find for him. Chris Jericho didn't really think he was even, like, he says he's not gonna wrestle outside of, at the time, he wasn't even gonna make an appearance on U.S. soil for another wrestling promotion. Kenny Omega would, against Okada on U.S. soil, may be the greatest match in Madison Square Garden's history. And you're going to not give the fans that, but you're going to give us a beatdown? That's lame.
Something just thought of me is like, what if Y2J showed at Supercard?
Well,
maybe. Yeah, something with New Japan, he could try something back with Ring of Honor. Or actually, did he ever go to Ring of Honor?
He was never in Ring of Honor.
Okay. The more reason to feel hyped about them.
Yeah, I'm not, we did talk about Kushida Beyond Parts. We did talk about Kushida. There's actually something interesting. Kushida was confirmed by New Japan. Kenny's departure was only talked about by Tokyo Sports Magazine, which Tokyo Sports still kind of like stays in storyline somewhat with New Japan. So yeah, I don't like it. It just, my head hurts trying just to think of all the angles. It's like I just kind of, more than anything else, I just kind of want to know so I don't have to think about it anymore.
I'll just go ahead and say this. If Omega doesn't show up at Rumble Weekend, that's our confirmation that he's not signing with them.
Not necessarily true, because his New Japan contract is valid through the 31st. So he wouldn't be able to show up at the Rumble no matter what.
If he debuts, you're going to use him at a crappy pay-per-view that no one's father gonna watch rather than the big four?
No, I'm just saying he can't legally go to the Royal Rumble now.
No, not really compete, like just like show up, like I don't know, challenge someone.
He's under contract with New Japan still.
Oh, okay.
Like his contract does not expire until the 31st of January. The Royal Rumble's on the 22nd. You can't do that.
27.
Yeah, unless they work out something, but I don't think New Japan's gonna go, oh, please go make them money sooner, yes, you know. But that's just my thoughts.
To me, I just think he's too good for them, because he's already at a popularity height where it's like, oh, you think you can go bigger? It's like, I think he's as popular as he is right now. His merchandise outsells WWE and Hot Topic.
It's just, I don't want him to leave because I want AEW to grow and I want New Japan to continue expanding. You know, that's something else with AEW is if they sign exclusive contracts with AEW, it makes the Elite look like hypocrites because, you know, one man's not supposed to own wrestling. Well, if you're scooping up all the talent and only letting them wrestle for you, you're kind of being one man trying to own wrestling there.
One thing that's also breaking their promise that they're saying, like, oh, we're all going to stick together as one group.
Well, Cody said a few weeks...
Marty.
Yeah, a couple... Well, I mean, if Marty's still under contract, he's still under contract.
Well, obviously, yeah. Then I'm saying, like, wherever we're going, like, we're going to stick together as one. It's like, if you want one of us, you want all of us.
Yeah, it's just... it's hurt. It's hurting my head, and it's keeping me up at night, and damn you, Kenny, why can't you just commit? Why do you gotta be that guy? Why do you gotta leave Coda behind like that?
I kind of want him to go back into his bad boy phase, really, because I like him as a bad guy. I'm like, what the hell Tom is doing on Twitter? Like, jeez, that's scaring me.
Did you see his entrance at like their little fan expo? He's like walking around going like...
I know, he's like, okay, Tom, what's going on? Okay, because it's just like when Matt Hardy, when he was on Impact, he had his whole amnesia thing, and it's like, oh, what are you doing? Where are you going with this? I'm scared. Like his whole good guy thing is like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think.
Him apologizing to the Bucks, I was like waiting for him to just snap out of it. It's like, no, this is not you. Please just punch them.
So, something else that's interesting, I think, just add more to the speculation. The next day at New Year's Dash, Kenny Omega was not on the show. And I know a lot of, that brought up a lot more speculation, but when AJ was leaving, he was in, a tag match with Kenny at New Year's Dash the next day, and that's when Kenny turned on him and ousted him from the Bullet Club. You kind of wonder if Kenny was actually leaving, if he would have been there to be kind of written out somehow.
I think the
I don't know.
Troll would have been him betraying the Elite. I don't know, because...
But would you really want... If Kenny is going to the WWE, would you really want to let him get one over on anybody? No.
But so isn't that kind of how Jay White joined? He got attacked by Bullet Club, and then suddenly, a few weeks later, it was a setup he joined?
No. Jay White was offered to join Bullet Club by Kenny. He turned it down and joined Chaos. But all the while when he joined Chaos, he told Okada, don't get me wrong, I'm just using this so I can keep an eye on you. Eventually I'm going to come after you. And then when the OGs turned on the Elite, eventually, and when Jay White was kind of turning on Chaos, and Jay White and Gato turned on Okada, that's when Jay White joined the Bullet Club and eventually became the new leader.
I don't know if they did fight in New Japan, but I realized that Angle, they never really had a proper match of firing squad versus the elite.
No.
Unless
That whole thing kind of like it fizzled out. Like Omega's title reign was not as good as it should have been. That I will concede.
Because that's what I was really hoping to speculate at All In. We would have firing squad versus the Bucks and Ibushi, but no, Tana and Leo, they were just there signing autographs, and they just left, and they didn't.
Yes, but from a storyline perspective, why would you you know, pay guys to come to your show when they, you know, just want to ruin everything?
Would have been a good angle.
What's an angle?
Kurt Angle? I don't know.
Yeah. He's right there.
But it would still be a really good storyline.
Oh, I'm not denying that. I can see why they didn't use them on the All In though. Like, hey, they hate us, so let's pay them money to come to our show and screw things up. Like, I could see that logical.
Or maybe the match between the Briscoes and SCU, they would come out and go after SCU and be like, this is a message to the elite, this is what's going to happen to y'all. Especially when you have it like televised on prime time, it would have been pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's I don't know. There's so much going on. I don't know what to think about Kenny Omega.
In my personal opinion, I don't think he'll sign with WWE. I don't think so.
Okay, you don't think he's going to sign with WWE now? Here's the look. I'm gonna pose. We're gonna go out on this one. I'm gonna pose a few questions. I want you to answer them. I want anybody who watches this video leave what you think. Who's a Kenny Omega fan? Leave what you think in the comment section below. Here's my questions. Where do you think Kenny Omega is going? Where do you think he's going? Do you think he'll be at Madison Square Garden? And do you think he will return to New Japan? You know, if you answer one question one way, it eliminates the other two. But I'm interested to hear everybody's thoughts on that. Double C, I'm going to pose those three questions to you. Who do you think he's signing with? Do you think he'll be at G1 Supercard? And do you think he will return to New Japan in any capacity?
I think he'll definitely be at All Elite because, well, when he kind of started that whole being the elite thing with him in the Bucks.
Right.
So it's like, your name that you created is right on there. And it's not just being the elite, it's All Elite Wrestling. So I think your name's right in there, man. This is kind of like how you started. Even though you're not the technical brainchild like Cody is, you still want to commit to something.
Right.
And even if you go in your future and be like, hey, I do want to give WWE a 1 or 2 year shot, okay, go ahead. As long as they make you fight in matches that are going to be worth watching.
So no Baron Corbin storyline, no Jinder Mahal, no giving Kurt Hawkins his first win, none of that stuff.
I guess. I don't know. If he does go there, I just want him to, like, be treated right. Like what they did with AJ Styles.
Right,
He's
I agree.
Like the mid-card where he starts the show, he's in that first match, and that's it.
Right.
Or if they put him on NXT first, that's the first sign that he's going to be treated horribly.
Right. But if the rumor and innuendo is true that they're offering him that much money, I don't think they're going to give somebody in developmental. As great of a brand as that is, it's still developmental. I don't think they're going to give a developmental contracted guy that much money.
I was first wondering when Samoa Joe finally came to WWE, why the hell they sent him to NXT? It's like, that guy was basically the poster boy of Impact. You put him to NXT? Are you crazy?
That I can't answer, but...
And now look at Samoa Joe. Apart from his bad injury, he's not... Hasn't he even won a title ever since his call-up?
Okay, Beyond Parts Unknown has said he's staying in New Japan, maybe MSG, and at least working Double or Nothing for AEW. Okay. All right, thank you.
Well,
Um,
MSC's a tricky one because he was asked that at Starcast. I was thinking back to that one kid who said, "Will you show up at Supercar?" And I was like, "Ooh."
and what do you say?
And I'm trying to remember. I think it's like, I think to someone it's like, even if he's not there, he wants people to go and see the show because
Yeah.
like, as we know, like I think MSG confirmed it is a sold out show, and
Yes.
especially since they had Takeover moved to Friday, that place is going to be full.
Now, I also feel that Takeover was moved to Friday because they want people Saturday. I feel like they got a big name for the Hall of Fame, which is why they put the Hall of Fame on Saturday. Like I feel like they might be having like Taker or The Rock go into Hall of Fame on Saturday.
As much as I just respect the WWE Hall of Fame, if you're really gonna have a ceremony, how come you haven't built an actual building?
I wouldn't have minded going to something like that, but I want to watch actual wrestling over that. Like if there was nothing, like if it was on Thursday with nothing going on, absolutely I'd be there. But I'm not going to give up a wrestling event to go watch that. I'm going to go ahead.
Subject is like I would love for WWE to make their own little museum.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be sweet.
Like, I don't know why they haven't yet, but that's all on the subject. Like, as for MSG, that's a maybe.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be like one of those photos where it's like you see like Kenny appeared there, but he wasn't in the show. He was just there like supporting the guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that, but it could happen. As far as
what was the last question?
So like, where do you think he will go? Do you think he'll beat MSG? Do you think he'll appear in New Japan again?
Oh, okay. He did say like he would want that match one more time. So it's like I kind of feel like he wants to take a break of New Japan and then eventually come back.
Right.
Like, give it like 6-9 months. He takes a break. Like he wants to figure out what to do. He wants to help AEW or Ring of Honor or something. Even if he's not fighting for them, it's like he can still just help out on how to promote it better. But I think he'll come back to New Japan.
Here's what this is probably what this is what like my number one thinking, and then I kind of have like a close number two. I think he's going to AEW. I think he will be at MSG. It's still a maybe, but I kind of feel like Tanahashi is gonna like Jay White's challenged Tanahashi. I feel like Tanahashi's gonna retain against Jay, but then like before G1 Supercard, Kenny's gonna come back and say like I never got my rematch. You know, this was your Tokyo Dome. You know, where you beat me for the title. Well, you're gonna have to come to Madison Square Garden and defend it against me one more time. I could see that happening. From there, I think he might
in a 4-month time span.
Yeah. I mean, that's if we don't get Tanahashi and Jay White at MSG. You know, I don't know. I think I don't know. It may be Tanahashi and Jay White at MSG, but if not, or if they already do that match and Tanahashi retains, I could see Kenny doing that. Do I think I'll see him back in New Japan again? Yeah, but not anytime soon. I mean, like I said, I think he'll do that match and then he might go away to just do AEW for a while. That's what I think is going to happen. That is.
I think if Kenny had like his real official, this is the last time I'm going to be in New Japan, or I'm going to take a break from New Japan for time being, it would be MSG. Like, he wins, everyone's happy, they like celebrate something, he takes his little bow, and he helps out with AEW for couple of years or so, and then
Yeah, well, he wouldn't win. You know, he'd lose if he's leaving in New Japan for a while. But
well, even if you win, it's like you just want to be like, thank you for everything, goodbye, mwah, and good night back.
yeah, he wouldn't want to win the title though, under that circumstance.
Well, no, I don't know. I think like if he's at MSG, I wouldn't necessarily put him in a title match. Just a real fight.
Maybe Ibushi, Okada, just like a one-on-one match.
Yeah, I guess like kind of like how like Okada and Marty had their match. Like I thought that was awesome.
And
whatever the little miscommunication was back when he wasn't at the little thanks for coming and Kurt Cole and all that.
right.
That was like the first wondering like why is Marty not on here?
I was saying that when it happened at the very end of the show. But that's kind of what I think will happen. I also, if that doesn't happen, then he's going to WWE. You know, it is what it is. It's kind of like, I don't know how, I feel like I didn't really give an answer, but I'm just like, so, my mind's going in so many different directions. But that's what I'm got the most confidence will happen. I'd like to think Kenny.
205, he's ruined.
What's up?
If Marty goes to 205 Live, he's ruined.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, he
no
is.
hope whatsoever.
But yeah, that's I mentioned this kind of in joking because I don't really want him to go to WWE. But I said, you know what would make me like just be think what would just make the weekend awesome for me? Say WWE at for like the United States title has like a 5-way match, you know, for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. Kenny has a match at MSG, loses to Tanahashi, loses to Ibushi, whatever. And then, you know, they're getting ready to do this 5-man match, you know, with Nakamura, Rusev, Jeff Hardy. Give me 2 more SmackDown guys, double C. SmackDown middle.
Cien Almas.
Cien Almas, thank you, that's a good one.
Eric Young.
No, okay.
Is he
Now,
gonna-
realistically, would he be going there? He might. Or EC3's probably going to Raw. Okay, but what was Erica? You have those 5 out there. They're getting ready to have their big 5-man whatever the fuck WWE match that's going to happen for the U.S. title.
Basically have a reenactment of the Hardys coming back.
Yes. And hold on, we've got one new guy who's here. We've just come to terms with one of the biggest free agent signings in WWE history, and he's making his debut here tonight, Kenny Omega. And he wins the U.S. title and goes into a feud with Nakamura because when Nakamura left New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was after Kenny had beat him, and Kenny just declared that he was going into the heavyweight division. And then Nakamura left before he could lose the IWGP Intercontinental title to Omega.
Isn't there a rumor that Nakamura is going to leave?
I don't think Nakamura's going to leave. Nakamura likes...
Isn't there a rumor?
Now, see, I've heard quite the opposite. Everything I've read is Nakamura wanted to move to the United States. He moved his whole family to the United States. He enjoys the life of living in the United States, and he's pretty happy there, so...
That's happy with WWE.
That remains to be seen, but I don't think he's going to go back to Japan. I think that he's going to stay.
No, I'm not talking about Japan.
AEW's going to have to offer him more money then, I believe.
We'll see what happens.
You got to remember, Nakamura's not a young man anymore. So he's gonna go with whatever's gonna make him the most money now.
That's fine. My first thought was if it wasn't the Hardys at WrestleMania 33, my first team that popped in my head, I thought it was gonna be DIY. Like Gargano and Ciampa just coming out. I was like, oh my god. Because I hear the Hardy music, I was like, oh my god, yes.
I think it's also fun that they compete in 2 ladder matches in 2 nights that weekend.
I actually didn't think they were going to win. I thought it was going to be either Cherry Cesaro or I really was hoping Enzo and Big Cass. I thought, hey, they're
Yeah, because that was before they both went stupid. Yeah, but oh well, we have.
Asking everybody other hilarious question: will quote real one go to AEW?
I hope not. I hope not.
Okay.
But we've done enough.
I do want to think this: if they have a general manager for AEW, it has to be Trevor and Arthur. Please, they're my favorite AE characters. I don't care about the rest of them. I love Trevor and Arthur. You find them annoying or what?
No, I just don't. I just wouldn't want them to be an authority figure. But
oh, come on! They knew how to run a proper business.
Well, we've discussed the big news this week. I don't think we've really got any. We have no conclusive answers, but let us know what you think is going to happen with AEW, Kenny Omega's future, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and all things in between. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and like to see others like it, please like, share, and subscribe. Go like the Facebook page for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling, but from the world of comic books, video games, and all things in between. Double C, social media to promote? Any social media to promote?
You can find me under this fake name called @EricZarens.
Yes. I don't know who that guy is. But
neither do I. He's a loser. He's a loser from Canada.
Yeah, well, you know, that's how they all are up there.
Hey, I know some pretty good assholes up there.
I like my Canadian subscribers, so I'm not gonna make a Shawn Michaels joke about Canada. So on that note, everybody, it's been an exhausting, emotionally
burn of the year.
Emotional week for us.
And it's gonna get even worse.
Yes, and it might get worse. But until then, for Double C, I am the Athletic Geek. We're just two marks. We're out. Have a good one.
See ya.